Tuesday who had been doing this job for 35 years who said, I just don't really know. What this comes down to is that the Justice Department says Lindsey Halligan is still the U.S. attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia. They want her name on new criminal case filings, indictments, guilty pleas. And the judges in the Eastern District of Virginia, they're saying, wait a minute, what about that ruling we just had in the Comey case and the Letitia James case saying she's not the U.S. attorney? Devin Cole and I here at CNN, we got a lot of transcripts from court this week looking at what judges were saying. One judge, Magistrate William Fitzpatrick, he said filings under Ms. Halligan's name at this time are, quote, simply not acceptable. And then he said the law in this district right now is that she is not and has not been the United States attorney. So the Justice Department, they're trying to make sure that things are still done legally by putting other leadership names on case filings, and they believe that the ruling in the Comey case and James case, it only applies to that case, whereas the judges there are saying this judge was brought in to look at this and should have decided it for everyone. And the prosecutors in this district, they're stuck in the middle, getting very little guidance from the top echelon of the Justice Department on what to do. But the judges are telling them, here's another quote from one, you're in a terrible situation. You have to stand here and take the brunt of this. And that's patently unfair.
It does seem that there can't be alternate realities for different cases about who the attorney is, right? So that does seem like this needs to get worked out here. But how is this impacting a grand jury's decision not to re-indict Letitia James, the New York Attorney General, for mortgage fraud?
Well, first and foremost, we didn't see Lindsey Halligan in the courthouse in Norfolk, Virginia. The first time that Letitia James was indicted, it was done just by Halligan. Same thing with the Comey case. Halligan was the prosecutor who went to the grand jury, got those indictments, signed them. Even if her name is still on new indictments, whether it's another one that they could try again for Letitia James, a grand jury said no to that yesterday. The Justice Department might try again. Even if she were to be indicted again, if others are indicted, her name's still on filings, but she herself is not the person doing it because the Justice Department wants to make sure that they don't run into this problem again.
Very interesting. All right, Caitlin Polance, maybe you'll be back to tell us when this is all sorted out. Soon?
It is up to the court to sort this out ultimately.
All right. Caitlin, thank you. Boris?
Let's discuss this with a former Trump administration official during the president's first term, Miles Taylor, who is chief of staff to former DHS Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen. He's also the founder of Defiance.org. Miles, thanks so much for being with us. So 3 judges telling prosecutors that Halligan's name should not be on new criminal case filings. Just from a logistical standpoint, what would it mean to actually remove her name?
Well, look, I mean, this is a very easy thing for the administration to do. And so, Boris, there's almost no other conclusion you can come to here other than the U.S. Department of Justice has decided to thumb their noses at the courts. And I got to be honest with you, put everything else aside about the controversies here, I am not sure it's the best strategy to go win cases to piss off federal judges. But that is what they are doing here. And of course, the reporter that was just before me demonstrated that. But the quote here was so damning is one of the judges originally in that decision had said Halligan was, quote, never lawfully appointed and she lacked the authority to bring these indictments. It's not a matter of interpretation. This is black and white. And so the Trump Justice Department has made a decision. They're going to pretend that was never said. This is the type of thing, Boris, folks have been worried about, is the administration just starting to defy the orders of the courts. Now, folks may think this is a small one because they're defying the order of a court about the appointment of one person to a job, but that's a slippery slope. And my fear is it leads to other defiance decisions of court orders.
And what could it mean for the cases themselves if they do, as you put it, anger these federal judges by keeping her name on?
Well, the cases themselves, I think it actually increases the likelihood that they will get thrown out by these judges. But the problem here, Boris, is still that the process is the punishment. So if the president's loyalists, his hardcore political loyalists, are put in these jobs to bring obvious revenge prosecutions, then they are still able to upend these people's lives, blacklist them, force them to spend money on lawyers, force them to spend time in court. They can destroy people's lives before you even get to the point where a judge says, hey, we told you guys this person wasn't lawfully appointed. We're throwing this case out. That's a big deal. And I know that this Justice Department thinks they can still do that.
The Justice Department hasn't actually provided a formal explanation about why they think Halligan can remain in the job. Do you imagine that's at some point going to come to a head, or are they going to be forced to provide an explanation?
Yeah, I think they will. I mean, look, they're either going to respond to the fact that they keep losing cases with her name on the masthead and decide it's just not worth it anymore, or judges are going to have to issue follow-on orders that put the administration in the position of having to affirmatively defy the courts right there, or end up complying with those court orders. And look, I think that what you just saw with Letitia James is going to be another forcing function. Is we've got a person that's accused of breaking the law here, but who apparently isn't breaking the law, Letitia James. It looks to me personally more like it's people at the Justice Department breaking the law. And here's what I mean by that, Boris. We all see what's happening here with these cases. To me, these are very obvious revenge prosecutions. The president sent his own person into that office to make sure that an adversary got prosecuted with something. They've just tried again to bring that case. The grand jury swatted it down. And you know what? The reason I said it might be people in the